While fighter planes and bombers hit the front page when aerial combat takes place, another type of asset plays a crucial role: AEW&C, or Airborne Early Warning and Control System aircraft. AEW&C are like eye in the sky and are considered key assets in a modern combat scenario. Reports have now emerged that a Russian Beriev A-50 AEW&C aircraft has been attacked and damaged in Belarus. Anti-government activists in Belarus have claimed responsibility for this incident, which occurred at an airfield near Minsk. The exact location is Machulishchy military airfield, which is 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles from the capital Minsk. It was reported that it was rocked by two powerful explosions. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why the crippling of Beriev A-50 AEW&C aircraft is a critical blow for Russia. Let's get started. The Russian aircraft, Beriev A-50, also known as Mainstay by NATO, has command and control capabilities and the ability to track up to 60 targets at a time. The Beriev A-50 is a Soviet-era AEW&C aircraft. It was based on the Ilyushin IL-76MD heavy military transport aircraft fitted with a huge search radar. This was essentially a response to the US E-3 Sentry AWACS aircraft, which appeared a couple of years earlier. The A-50 made its first flight in 1978. The type reached initial operational capability in 1982. Some sources report that the type entered service in 1985. Production ceased in 1992 after the collapse of the Soviet Union and with the end of the Cold War. A total of 40 to 42 A-50 series aircrafts were built, including modernized and export variants. By 2011, the Russian Air Force operated 20 of these aircraft. Some sources report that in 2022, Russia operated only 9 A-50 aircraft, including 3 upgraded A-50M and 6 A-50U aircraft, though it's unclear how many of these aircraft were airworthy. The main role of this aircraft is to detect, identify, and track airborne targets and warships at sea. Data from the A-50 aircraft is transferred to command centers. The aircraft also provides guidance data to fighter aircraft and missiles. The Schmel radar is mounted in a large rotodome above the rear fuselage. The Schmel radar can detect bomber aircraft at a range of 650 kilometers, or about 400 miles, fighter aircraft and warships at ranges of 300 kilometers, or 186 miles, and short-range ballistic missiles at ranges of 800 kilometers, or about 500 miles. It can track 200 to 300 aerial targets simultaneously and provide guidance data for a group of up to 30 fighter jets. The aircraft is operated by a crew of 15, including a flight crew of 5 and 10 officers who manage the whole airborne early warning system. There are situation display consoles for the operators. A-50 has an endurance of 9 to 10 hours. It also has an in-flight refueling probe, which can extend its flight range. The unit price of a used A-50 is around $330 million, and around $500 million in upgraded A-50U form. Anti-government activists in Belarus said the clandestine operation was carried out by drones. Alexander Azarov, leader of the Belarusian anti-government organization BIPOL, claimed responsibility for the attack on Telegram and stated that the strikes damaged the front and central parts of the aircraft, as well as its radar and antenna. Mr. Azarov said, "These were drones. The participants of the operation are Belarusian." Speaking to the BBC, Franek Vyakorka, an advisor to Belarusian opposition leader, said the attack was creative and sophisticated. He told BBC News, "It was very brave because Belarusians are in a situation of total terror." He added that the opposition party was definitely helped by locals, helped by military to cause damage to the plane. Vyakorka, an advisor to Belarusian opposition leader Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, applauded the attack on Twitter as the most successful diversion since the start of 2022. He tweeted, "Glory to Belarusian partisans. I am proud of all Belarusians who continue to resist the Russian hybrid occupation of Belarus and fight for the freedom of Ukraine." Belarusian security agencies have found a bag with drone control panels which confirm the sabotage act. Both Moscow and Minsk will now potentially treat this as a terrorist act. Russia has long accused Ukraine of using methods it claims to qualify as terrorist tactics following the bombing of the Kerch Bridge. Acts of sabotage in Belarus, which shares a border with both Ukraine and Russia, have been common since Russia invaded Ukraine a year ago. The country's autocratic leader, Alexander Lukashenko, is dependent on the government of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Last year, Minsk allowed Moscow to use its territory for launching attacks on Ukraine. AEW&C aircraft are considered high-value targets. Even special long-range air-to-air and surface-to-air missiles with active radar homing were designed to destroy them. Interestingly, Soviet S-300V and Russian S-400 and S-500 long-range air defense systems are intended for this role. As per reports, the plane is seriously damaged and won't fly anywhere soon. One of the main reasons for below-par performance of Russian air forces is the lack of AEW&C, which impeded the efficient functioning of its fighters and bombers. This incident will further hamper Russian efforts as the war in Ukraine shows no sign of coming to an end. The UK Defense Ministry said this in its latest intelligence update published on Twitter. Attribution and damage has not been officially corroborated. However, the loss of an A-50 mainstay would be significant as it's critical to Russian air operations for providing an air battlespace picture.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.